Hello everyone, welcome back to ThoseYGOguys. I'm your host Alessandro. So I'm gonna delve into my own predictions, just my thoughts and ideas on how the April 1st, 2015 format is gonna play out. But remember, it's not like everything I say is by law or so. This is just like my predictions and how I think it's going to turn out. So, in the earlier phase of this upcoming format, we're gonna see a bit of rogue decks making a comeback. Not like they're going to start topping like left to right. More people are, I'm just saying, like, more people are going to be more willing to play rogue now, since we get starting to see some rogue decks becoming at full power. Like Fire Fist got everything back, Gladiator Beasts have gotten everything back, Blackwings got everything back, especially when they got a couple of cards from, or actually no, 4 cards from the new Premium Gold Return the Bling. Sylvan's got Lone Fire back at 3, and also a couple of cards as well from the Premium Gold, and stuff like that. And I think this is going to be very interesting to see how that is going to play out. So it's going to be really interesting to start to see and how things are going to look. Also, I know people were talking about, like, they're taking out MST. There's no need because of skill drain and Vandy's emptiness are at 1. There's no need to run MST or feel obliged to do so. This is where I beg to differ, because I still think MST is still going to be a necessary card, but not as 3-ups. I think we gotten past that phase now. I still think MST is still an important part for certain decks, especially when you play against certain decks that still do play floodgates. And sometimes, if you don't have the outs to certain floodgates, even they're at 1, it's going to be a very rough duel. Say for example, if I was playing Lightsworn and I'm playing against a Ritual Beast and I don't have any outs to Dimensional Fissure or Macrocosmos, and they try to stop my Lila plays and so forth, I mean, it's going to be hard. And that's probably why I think, you know, MST is maybe not as important as it was last format, but it still holds its purpose of trying to deal with certain floodgates and so forth. Now, let's dive into 2 main sets that are going to make an impact in the upcoming, like one's going to come in next month and the other one's going to come in the next 2 months. One's going to be the World Superstars set, and the other one's going to be Cross Souls. So I believe that the World Superstar set is going to make a much bigger impact to this format than the Cross Souls. Now granted, the Cross Souls, there's some pretty interesting cards, not including TCG exclusives, because we have no idea in terms of power and effect wise what certain cards are going to be like, especially for Burning Abyss, but I will get to them later in this video. But I think with the certain cards that we have already known about the World Superstar set, I think it's going to make a much bigger impact to this game. If we go back 1 year prior to this year, and go back to the April 2014 format, people are making a comparison of which 2 sets, which are Dragons of Legends and Primal Origins, which 2 sets have made a bigger impact onto that format. And I think from what I've seen, Dragons of Legend has made a much bigger, a bigger impact than the Primal Origins set. But of course, those 2 sets have made an impact to that format. So I think the general consensus for, at least for my prediction on the upcoming, at least in the future for this format, I think it's going to be shaping up to be like that again. Now let's go and delve into the big 5 meta decks that have been started topping left to right of the metagame, starting from Duelist Alliance set till now. Those 5 decks are Shaddolls, Satellarknights, Burning Abyss, Cleaforts, and Necros. Let's start off with Cleaforts. Now, people say that Cleaforts is a dead deck because of Scout went to 2, Sacrifice went to 1, Skill Drain Emptiness went to 1, and so on and so forth. But I think that was a big mistake that people are getting to that mentality. And I think people are going to find new ways to keep the deck alive for Cleaforts. For example, people are going to replace the skill drains they have lost with the Recluate, which basically, if a monster that's level 4 or lower that is normal summon or flip summon, its effects are going to be negated until the end of this turn. And if a monster is special summon and is level 5 or higher, its effect is also negated until the end of this turn, and also is banished when it leaves the field. And of course, it self-destructs when, Recreate self-destructs when there's no Cleat card on the field except itself, and sent to the graveyard. So, I think Cleaforts are going to be really powerful. They're still going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think they're going to rely more on the Cleafort monolith, and also make some interesting techs like Dawn of the Night to recycle the sacrifice, or Hidden Armory to search or recycle the sacrifice they've lost. So it's going to be very interesting where that deck is going to go about. Up next will be Shaddolls and Satellarknights. I'm putting those 2 together because they're going to be impacted by the upcoming World Superstar set, because a couple of the cards within it are known as Star Seraphs. And they have made a great impact on those 2 archetypes. And if we look into the OCG competitive scene this past summer, those 2 decks were very powerful with the Star Seraphs. So let's look at right now. For Satellarknights, let's start off with Satellarknights. They have 3 Rotas. I think that's the bigger impact. I don't think, judging from consensus, I don't think any Satellarknight deck, or at least majority of them, are not running or main decking Honest. So I don't think that's a big factor. But they got in like Constellar Diamond. Satellarknight Constellar, or that XE monster Diamond, yeah. Which is pretty much an anti-dark card, which is great against Burning Abyss and Shaddolls, which is already a big plus for them. And they're always serve as like an anti-meta-ish control-based deck, or stun. So I think that deck is going to be super powerful once the Star Seraphs drops. Shaddolls, on the other hand, they have lost super polymerization, but they still are about the same. They are getting a new fusion monster in the Cross Soul, which is pretty much the requires a water attribute, and it's great for Necros. But from what I've heard from a lot of people, is no one really knows how to utilize a water monster to main deck that will help the Shadow deck, rather than just it's just there because I can make it. This water fusion monster. So it's gonna be interesting where that goes. Let's see. Yeah, but I mean, Star Seraph will help Shadow really well. Seraph Shadows was a very dominant deck back in this previous summer, so that is a guarantee. Now the question is what variant is going to be really good for Shadow? That's going to be a question that's going to be up in the air. So yeah. Then moving on to Burning Abyss. Yes, Torgai has gone to 1, but that doesn't mean that the deck is done or rotated out, because they're getting a new fusion monster in the upcoming Cross Souls, especially a few other Burning Abyss cards. So I think Burning Abyss still has more potential to reevaluate and still grow and become a powerful deck still. So I don't think Burning Abyss are out for the count. I think there will still be a strong deck as it always have been. For example, Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss is still at 3. Graf and Seer are still at 3, and so on and so forth. I mean, the deck is so powerful. I mean, there's nothing much more I can say about it. So we have to wait and see how strong the, on the new support from Cross-Soul, how much of an impact it's going to create for them. And finally, Necros. Now, granted, Necros kind of got hit in a sense. Like, Prep went to 1 and Brionac went to 2, but I mean, it's still a slight touch for Necros. The deck is still powerful, and I think people are going to say it's probably going to be the best deck of the, or at least the deck to beat for the upcoming format, and probably so. Necros is going to be a very strong deck, and I think there's nothing much more I can take away from that, but I don't think they're going to get much more direct support for them in general of set wise. Yes, they're getting like Sophia, but that card kind of pretty much does not serve much for the Necros deck itself. It's probably more served towards other decks. So that's basically my general thoughts on that card. But outside of that, I think this is probably at Necros at its height. Ever since they were first released, I think Necros this is probably going to be as strong as Necros is going to get, and then starting with the upcoming April format, and maybe in the future, we're probably going to start seeing Konami is going to start making touches to Necros. But I think Necros as a deck is still a very, very powerful deck as a whole, especially with the mechanics they can do and stuff like that. So I think the only thing they could gain is probably like indirect support. And it's going to come down to what kind of cards are going to be within the, the World Superstar set. And also, what kind of TCG exclusives as well, or other exclusive cards, and see how things are going to plan out. But those are my general thoughts and my predictions. Like I said earlier in the video, my predictions are not by law. Not everything is going to be going according to exactly, but these how I feel might plan out, or how things are going to shape up. So leave a comment down below what you guys think. Do you agree with some of the points I made, or do you think there might be other points I miss? I don't know. This is something I'm very interested to see how this net season format is going to turn out. So stay tuned for more ThoseYGOguys. And as your host, Alessandro, I will see you guys later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.